Hey guys, this is Mark. Welcome to FlowRunner training. In this series, we review sample flows included into the FlowRunner training workspace. And this particular video is about a flow that is called daily report generation with AI. It's a very cool flow that I like for several reasons. Number one, it's very compact. It really literally consists of less than 7 blocks, maybe exactly 7. Yet it is quite functional. It does quite a lot of things that are fairly general purpose. And the functionality that you will see in this flow can be replicated in many other automations. It is quite useful. So we will jump right into the demonstration in a moment, but to give you a description of what this flow does, is it wakes up once a day according to a pre-configured schedule in FlowRunner. And when it wakes up, it goes and runs a query from the database, and it queries a table called orders. So it gets all the orders, let's say for the past 24 hours. It actually just grabs all the orders, but in the real world, it simulates grabbing a collection of orders for the past 24 hours and then sends all those orders to an AI assistant. And that AI assistant is trained to generate charts. So it analyzes all the data about the orders, and it generates 3 dynamic charts with the data from the orders. And those charts are orders by product, amount by product, and amount by salesperson. And all of the data is in the orders. So then we get the response from AI, we have all those charts, and we send those charts into the PDF generator that is built into FlowRunner and Backendless. And the PDF generator creates basically a daily report, and then we take that PDF report and we send out by email to an email address that you configure in the flow. And that's it. So it's fairly involved, as you can hear, and you will see, but the simplicity at which it is accomplished is quite astounding. It's pretty awesome, I think. So let's dig in and see how that flow first of all works. We will not wait for 24 hours. We can just kick off that flow so it generates a report. And then after that, we will just step into the actual flow and see how it is implemented. Let's run this flow and experience the automation first before we start digging into the actual implementation. For this, you will need to configure this flow, and I will point out what the configuration that remains to be done later on. For now, I configured the whole thing. It is ready to go. So for this, I'm going to click Start Flow. Now the flow is running. There is a companion web page that you can get to by navigating to the instructions section of the flow version. In there will be a link that opens up this page. So this page, if you click Generate Report, it starts this flow, and then the flow does what it does, and eventually I will be getting an email that will contain the actual PDF report. Since it may take just a few minutes, because the AI assistant sometimes takes a little time to process the orders. While it is happening, let's review some other things that this flow depends on. One of them is the database. And to see the database, if you click Quick Access and then navigate to under Data Service, navigate to Database, you will see something like this. And this is the this is the front end for the database that is available in your workspace. In here, this is a list of tables. Select orders, and this is the information that is pre-populated in your database, and that's the data. These are the orders that are being fetched by the automation. Okay, so all of this data will be sent to the AI assistant. Okay, next, in the automation, there is also an AI assistant that is called AI Data Analyst. That assistant, the details for that assistant in terms of the actual prompt and how it is configured are not available in the flow itself, because we have pre-configured those assistants and pre-packaged them with FlowRunner. However, in the documentation that we included with FlowRunner, there is a very detailed chapter that talks about the entire setup, so you can easily reproduce that assistant in your environment. Okay, so now let me check if we have that email that contains the daily report with the PDF. Okay, the email just came in. Let me bring it out in here. So this is the email that was sent by the Flow, and let's take a look at the report that was generated by both FlowRunner, and parts of it were generated by the AI assistant. So in here, notice that we have 3 charts, orders by product, and it shows how many orders are for gadget C, widget A, widget B. Amount by product, this is the total amounts of the orders for individual products, and then the amount by salesperson. So we have list of salespeople, and then the total revenue that is generated by each salesperson for the orders that we got from the database. And let's just to confirm, let's see that these are the names: Alice, Bob, and Charlie. And then if we go and take a look at the database, you'll see that these are the salespeople that we have in the database. So now that you have seen the actual result of this flow, let's stop this flow and take a look at the implementation of how it works. So the flow starts with this action, fetch orders, and this is the fetch orders is just a label. The actual action is find records in database. This action is available under actions, and if you go to data service, this is the one, find records in database. As you can see, this action fetches data from the orders table, and the where clause is the actual condition that it applies to get the orders. Now this part right here where it says order ID is not null, it means that it's going to fetch all the orders that are available. If you were to strip this out, order ID is not null, and then or, and leave this part in there, then it's going to get the orders that are available that have accumulated for the past 24 hours. So this is kind of a quick hack, I would say, or just a modification that makes it possible to produce some visual results even if there are no new orders in the past 24 hours. So what this block returns is a collection of orders. To see what that collection looks like, if you turn on the test mode and then execute this action in test mode by clicking this button, you will see that this is the response. So this is JSON response, JSON collection that includes orders. And then each one of these is a separate order. As you can see in here, there is a property salesperson, product, quantity, total amount, order date, and so on, price per unit. So AI will basically analyze all of that information to create those charts. How does it do it? Well, let's take a look. So once we got these orders, there is this condition that checks if orders exist. If you have this part of the query where it's going to get all the orders, of course, orders will exist. If you were to strip that part of the condition to fetch data from the orders, then orders may exist or may not exist because, on some days you may not have any orders. And this condition basically says, okay, this is the value we need to check, orders list. What is order list? Well, that's the response from fetch orders. You see, we reference it as orders list. And then in the condition, when we populate this field right here, if we go to expression editor by clicking this icon, you'll see there is orders list available in the expression editor. So we're using this guy right here. If you're where to start building it from scratch, just double click and it will end up in the expression. So the condition goes like this. We take this orders list and we say, well, we know that this orders list is going to be JSON array. And the operation that we want to perform is the length greater than 0, meaning that this collection is not empty. So all of this is essentially check whether it's empty or not. Okay. If it is not empty, meaning the answer is yes, then the flow continues to AI data analyst. By the way, if this array length is 0, then it's going to be no. Notice that the no is not connected to anything. In this case, flow execution just stops right here because it doesn't have a path to continue. So if the orders list is not empty, we move on to this AI data analyst. And this AI data analyst, notice that contains the message to assistant is very simple. We're just passing the orders to this assistant. In the assistant configuration, I'm going to switch to the OpenAI Playground. This is the prompt that we gave to that assistant. So we basically said that we will provide a data set in the JSON format. And these are the visualizations that we need to generate. And we're very detailed here. We say it's going to be a bar chart that shows number of orders or bar chart that shows total revenue. And then there are some additional instructions on the visual part of those charts. So we say that, include exact values on the bars for clarity, highlight the top performing per product and person, and so on. So again, all of this is in the documentation. And also notice that the code interpreter tool is enabled, which means that it will need to generate some code to process the data that we are providing to that AI assistant. AI data analyst, the AI assistant, gets this orders list, okay? And it returns or passes the data forward in an element that will be called AI data analyst result, okay? So this AI data analyst result will contain the actual references to the charts that the AI created. So what's going to happen next is kind of interesting. We are using this actions group block. An actions group is sort of a special construct in FlowRunner that can contain one or more actions. So inside of this actions group, if we were to step in, notice that there are 3 blocks. Each of them is an instance of transform data. So what happens here is we basically say, okay, we're going to take the result of the AI assistant, and we're going to reference a property that is called files. That property is just part of what's available in the response from AI assistant. In fact, notice right here, files is just something that is there. And this files is going to be a collection of files. So we will have 3 files to be precise. And then here in this transform data, we reference a specific collection, meaning collection of files in this case. And we say, okay, give me the first element in that collection. And the first element has index 0. So this returns orders by product summary because we know it is going to be available at the index 0. And the reason we know this is because that's how we specified in the AI prompt to return that. And this guy, which will be amount by product summary, uses exactly the same transform data, but specifies index 1. And this one specifies index 2. And the result of it is going to be amount by salesperson summary. While it says summary, it really is a reference to a file or a URL that contains that chart. Since all of these elements are in the actions group, they start running at the same time in parallel. So this is sort of a performance also enhancement thing. And then notice that in this actions group, there is a property that is called outgoing transition mode, and it is set on completion. So this means that this group or this block will wait until all of these actions that are located inside are done. And only then it will move on to the next block. And then this is how this on completion works. And the tooltip uh, describes what's going to happen here. So after we have extracted all the files from the AI response, then we're moving on to the generate PDF report. This one is very, very interesting. Before we start digging into how it works, let's switch to another tool available in FlowRunner Backendless called PDF Template Editor. Right now it is under messaging, but it's actually going to move under front-end development. But anyway, just type in here PDF and you will find this PDF Template Editor. Click on this guy and then this will open. So this is the PDF Template Editor in Backendless FlowRunner. There is this built-in report and you will see it if you created a workspace for FlowRunner training. It will be available right in there. So in here, this is when you start a new PDF template, you get a blank canvas, nothing on it. And you can start dragging these tools, all of these guys, into your PDF template. What this thing here is, it looks like a chart, but it really is just an image, okay? We pre-populated it just to show what it will look like. But here, this is just a placeholder that has a type of image and a name that you type in so you can recognize it later on. So there are three placeholders. One is the orders by product summary, amount by product summary, and third one is the amount by salesperson. All of these are images. This one is just text, but it's static text. You see, editable is not selected. Let's go back to our flow and see what's going to happen there. Also, notice that the name of the template is Orders Daily Report. So in here in our flow, when you select Generate PDF Report, you can select your template, Orders Daily Report. When you select your template, you will also have to specify the name of the file, of what it's going to be called once the PDF is generated. But this part is the most interesting. It says template values. Notice that it recognized that on page 1, we have these template values, orders by product summary and amount by product summary. And on page 2, we have amount by salesperson. So what's going to happen next is we just need to map data from the flow to these fields that are available in PDF template. And the way we do this is we basically get the result of all of these actions right here from the group. And every one of them is a file. And we're basically mapping that data. See, amount by salesperson summary, amount, orders by product summary. In here, we basically take all of this. We take the file URL property because it contains the actual URL. And we're basically mapping that data to these fields. So we're sending the URL, and then PDF generator will grab that image by that URL and then place it in the PDF file that is generated. Once the file is generated, the result of the PDF generator will be available as Generate PDF Report result, which is then used in the send report email. Notice that if you select the send report email, in the attachments URL, we have this generate PDF report result, and it gets this URL. So what send report result is an instance of this Gmail extension, and there is a send message block. So this send report and email is send message. And then the rest is just a list of properties of who it is being sent to, what the subject is, what the body content is, and so on. Whenever you get this flow, before you can run it, there will be two things that you will need to configure. And both of them are going to be in the send report and in email. Number one, you will need to establish an OAuth connection. So there will be a login button, click login, go through authentication, establish your OAuth connection. We are in the process of working with Google to get our OAuth connector approved by Google. Until it happens, there will be some prompts where Google says that hasn't been approved yet. But it will still work nevertheless, that there are some prompts that indicate that it has been approved. So create this connection first. Second, put in your email address in the to. So you will be receiving that, or whoever you want to receive this report, you will need to put this email address right here. And after that, click Start Flow, and it will be running. If there is an error in any of these, notice that there is handle error. So what's going to happen is that the flow will just continue to this handle error and stop. If you do not have this handle error and an error occurs, yes, the flow will just stop abruptly and you will not know what happened. But with this handle error, it is being intercepted, the actual error, and you'll be able to see what has happened by going to analytics. But analytics is really outside of the scope of this video. Here, I just wanted to give you an overview of how this flow actually works. And with that, it's going to be a wrap. I hope you found this video useful and will be able to use this knowledge in the flows that you will create. Once we're done with all of the sample flow overview videos, we will create another mini series where we actually build these flows from scratch. So you'll be able to follow along and then replicate all of this functionality in your FlowRunner workspace. Thank you for watching this video, and as always, happy automating.